Good morning and welcome to Hepco Live 2020 Application Showcase. Right, so today joining me, very great pleasure to introduce Ruben from Spain, David, who covers our Asian market, Torsten from our German market, and Cyril from our French branch. And my colleagues are going to be sharing with you today application stories from 2020, and it's really going to give you an insight into not only how our products are used in different applications, but also the different industries that we work in around the world. We are a truly international company. Okay, so let's kick this off. And first of all, we're going to go over to Ruben in Spain, who's going to show a very impressive GFX application for the machine manufacturer Pack Feeder. Let's take a look.
Welcome everybody. Many thanks for joining us today. My name is Ruben Gonzalez. I'm the sales manager of Spain and Portugal at HepcoMotion. I have been working for Hepco for more than 15 years now, with a background of more than 20 years in mechanical engineering. The application I'm going to show you was made by the company Pack Feeder, a company located in Barcelona, Spain, with over 40 years of experience in the packaging sector. They have specialized in the design and manufacture of positioning and sorting systems for plastic containers in sectors as diverse as the pharmaceutical industry, cosmetics, and personal care, among others. You have probably seen this video before, but there was a lot of work behind it, and I'm going to try to summarize for you. The machine was designed using a combination of our GFX guiding system, the XTS motors from Beckhoff, plus spider robots, with the function to unscramble plastic bottles. The challenge launched to HepcoMotion was to reach a maximum cycle of 200 containers per minute, ensuring high reliability and low maintenance. There was a previous version of this Pack Feeder system that was able to achieve 160 containers per minute. So to reach the 200 containers per minute seemed to be a great challenge for both parties. The machine is using basically a ring and track with a 3 meters perimeter, 5 Beckhoff motors in the straight sections, plus 280 degrees motors in the ends to complete an oval shape. They have 20 movers, 70 millimeters wide, and the mounting position of the circuit, and this is one of the key parts, is at 45 degrees that require to overcome the gravity in the return of the movers, providing a high consumption and temperature of the Beckhoff motors. Each mover had to complete the full perimeter in 2.4 seconds and guarantee a minimum life of 2 years, considering 16 hours per day work, 7 days per week, with no option to reduce the weight of the products, which was up to 0.5 kilos, plus the weight of the special design clamp from Pack Feeder. We had to focus at reducing the weight of some of the parts if we wanted to achieve the required 200 pieces per minute. Given the high kinematics of the application, with speeds up to 3 meters a second and accelerations up to 30 meters a second square, the solution was to reduce the weight of the movers and the friction of the bearings without compromising the load capacity, rigidity, and accuracy of the system. For that, we designed a lightning aluminum body where we reduced the mass by about 74 grams, and also we designed a special axial stiffness bearings where we also reduce the mass by another 57 grams. So we were able to reduce the total mass of each of the movers by about 131 grams. In the end, the result was that by reducing the mass of the mover, the system could achieve the necessary kinematics to produce the requested 200 pieces per minute. And we also could guarantee a minimum life of more than 4 years, more than double than the requested life without compromising the load capacity, rigidity, and accuracy of the system. The machine, in fact, has the highest speed per robot of the market thanks to the use of an intelligent track for transfer of the bottles. Many thanks for your attention. I hope you like this success application for us, and I'm looking forward to answering your questions.
Thank you, Ruben. An excellent application, and I really like this one because it really showcases the ability of the Beckhoff XTS system. The intelligent, independent motion of the movers allows it to come together and intelligently grip the product and move it such that it's picking up from a Delta robot at, blistering speeds, at 200 parts per minute. It's really mind-boggling and really easy to get enthusiastic about the technology that's driving this. But of course, underpinning the mechanical guidance system is Hepco's V-Guide technology, which has been around for well over 50 years. So this is very well proven technology, and it's why we've got this confidence and are able to provide you with a detailed sort of life calculation on these very, very busy applications. So that's great. Thank you very much again, Ruben. And let's take a look at your questions. So please, if you've got any questions, put them in the Q&A module. And to kick us off, we've got one in early from Esteban. And Ruben, he's asking what sort of maintenance is required on these systems?
Thank you so much, Esteban, for the question. Basically, these kind of systems are very low maintenance systems, and mainly for the maintenance, we use bleed lubrication points as a standard in the slides. These are mainly these lubrication points are mainly connected to a lubrication pump, and which provides the necessary lubrication for the machine. Before that, we also, as Alec mentioned before, we provide with live calculations and to all the customers. But to answer your questions, is mainly a low maintenance, and we do through the lubrication points in the slides.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you very much, Ruben. So, with an automatic dosing system, what it means is that effectively we can precisely dose the correct amount of lubrication onto that track, and with that automation controlled by the Beckhoff software, it becomes sort of truly fit and forget. So next up, we're going to go to David and take a look at a South Korean machine builder, HD Tech. And this is a medical application, very topical for 2020. So let's take a look. Thanks, David.
Hello, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this live event. 2020 has been an incredibly difficult year for most of us worldwide. Incredibly difficult year for one reason only, and that's COVID-19. And the application that I'd like to discuss with you today is directly related to the pandemic. It's via a company, a machine builder in Korea, our Korean market, and it was dealt with by our South Korean branch, HepcoMotion in Korea. The company name was HD Tech, a renowned machine builder, and their task or problem was to build a new machine for the assembly of COVID-19 test kits as quickly as possible, really, because time was obviously the essence to get these test kits to market as soon as possible. In terms of their construction, they were reasonably simple. You have an uppercase and a lowercase and test papers that fit inside. So going back to the task, the new machine was required quickly in a simpler modular format to suit a quick design time, time-efficient assembly. And as I said, it was all about getting this to market as quickly as possible. The machine builders who could respond fastest to this worldwide demand were obviously the winners. So on each nest of the conveyor system, there would be 10 units, each requiring a repeatable stopping accuracy in place on each of the stations of plus or minus 50 microns. 2 kilogram payload. System rigidity is very important with this type of assembly, and as is high duty. These machines are typically operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So customer needs, or the end user needs maximum productivity. I was looking for a proven solution with minimum maintenance and a reduced scope for catastrophic failure. In terms of the stages, the various stages on the system, we start with loading the lower plastic case, and then the test papers are input. The next station involves a press of these test papers into place. The next station is an inspection process, followed by the loading of the top plastic case. This is pressed into position. The finished product is finally inspected, and then the last station, 8 of 8, is the product unload. So what's the solution? HepcoMotion DTS, size 25, oval format, each straight configured to include stations for complete end-to-end process, which essentially means you're doing double the output on a single system, which of course means double productivity. So DTS systems can be used to form the basis for your machine, and that's exactly what we did with this one. Equipment was positioned both inside and outside, and carriages can be moved around to move a component or a fixture around the various stages of production. And robots or actuator systems, as is the case with this one, actuators, can be used to load and unload product at the beginning and at the end of each cycle. So as I said, solution was a HepcoMotion DTS 25 oval format with each straight configured to do a complete process. Industry proven, and the V technology means no catastrophic failure, minimum maintenance, and minimum spares. The movers are rigid to suit larger and rectangular nests, because the product was actually sort of like positioned across the carriage, as you can probably see on the image shown. And locking carriage systems provided the repeatable positioning accuracy of plus or minus 15 microns. Of all the 18 stations on the system, 12 of those stations required locking carriage mechanism. So the modular system, what did that give? It gave that minimal design time, which was critical to Hepco Korea being able to respond quickly to this requirement. And typically we supplied multiple units in 3 to 4 weeks, which was absolutely key. And as I've said, the scope of supply was DTS 25, 351 pitch circle diameter of the circular ovals, and 18 carriages at 200 millimeters pitch. So what were the results? First of all, increased productivity by a factor of 3. We're talking hundreds of thousands of units generated per day per machine. The additional space saving was key. We all know how important that is in terms of wider industry. DTS was utilized as a machine core. There was a reduction to the machine unit cost. It resulted in customers worldwide with over 50 units ordered thus far in 2020. And the success of this machine, guys, actually made Korean news, as the following video will show you.
Thank you very much, David. Yeah, fascinating application. So yeah, that was really interesting application for our DTS system, and it's one of many that have been related to COVID this year. And of course, it's very topical, and we've been, it's been really positive for all of us here at Hepco, to be involved in the fight against this global pandemic. So great work by everybody turning these around so quickly. And of course, the DTS, it's key to this production. Not only does the continuous motion really sort of maximize the throughput, David talked about 3 times productivity, but it's also reducing that footprint, and factory floor space is so important these days. So yeah, really good example. Okay, so let's go across to your questions. And first up, we've had a question that's been sent in by Mikhail. And he's asking, what sort of payloads can these systems carry? So, Mikhail, the DTS is part of a family of products. So there's a lot of different options within the range. It starts at the 25351, which we looked at today, and the DTS belt-driven system. That would be aimed at sort of a few kilograms. That COVID testing kit, only a matter of grams really in terms of the payload. But of course, no two applications are the same, and we do see varying masses, varying speeds, and so that's why we've got this flexibility within the range. We've recently launched DTS Plus, which allows us to go up to, we're in process of developing a size 76, which uses a 54mm diameter bearing, and that effectively means that the mass that we could put on one of those carriages could be, anywhere up to sort of 40 or 50 kilograms. So you're talking about getting into the realms of, automotive sub-assemblies that could be mounted onto that carriage plate. So it really does give us sort of a flexible solution, and also with an updated drive design, we can actually increase the speed of the system as well. So we not only higher loads, but faster speeds as well. Pascal is asking, if comparing with a turntable with a mechanical indexing system, what are the main advantages of the DTS? Okay, so obviously a turntable, you are limited to a completely circular motion, such as this, this table. If that was an indexing table, you've got a circular motion. Okay, and that's mechanically controlled by a gearbox system. With the DTS, what we can do, because we're combining segments with straight sections, we can effectively make those systems as long as we need. So, we've done systems that are 20 meters long, for example, but not only can they be oval. We looked at the systems that David showed us there, and they were using 180-degree end segments, but you could have 90-degree end segments. So that gives you a rectangular format. And of course, you can go as long as you want in either of those directions within the sort of limitations of the belt. So it gives you far more design flexibility. The other key advantage as well is when you look at these sort of indexing tables, the center of them is effectively solid. Okay, so all you can do is really mount your payload on top of that turntable. With the DTS system, the central portion of it is largely open. And that really allows you to mount sort of tooling or services up through the center. And again, it's all about minimizing your machine footprint. So it gives you the advantages in that way. Okay, so moving on, we're going to go over to Torsten in Germany, who's going to take us through a very interesting application for the pharmaceutical industry. Let's take a look.
Hello and a warm welcome from my side. My name is Torsten Faul and I'm the sales manager of Germany, Austria and German-speaking Switzerland. And I have been since more than 15 years at HepcoMotion. In the following example, we are talking about an interesting GV3 application in the pharma industry. Company Goldman is one of the world's leading manufacturers of automated order picking systems for pharmacies. The main advantages of Goldman machines include flexibility, lightweight construction, custom-made systems, and the storage principle. Goldman using a space-saving roll-fronted cabinet system. This system allows thousands of packages to be stored efficiently in a small area. In addition, no inspection passage is required. For these dispensing systems, a robust, insensitive to dirt, low maintenance guide was sought that also works without lubrication. You have to remember that also the accessibility is restricted once the system is set up. Once again, our proven GV3 system with the we principle was able to demonstrate its advantages for this application. How did that look in detail? First, we had a robust system. The system is set up on site in the pharmacies and must therefore be easy to install. This is done, among other things, by simply adjusting the bearings via eccentric to increase or decrease the running preload. In turn, this enables the user in situ to achieve the desired running quality. Another point, insensitive to dirt. Our WeGuide technology functions on the basis of tight geometrical control over matching slide and bearing wheels. In turn, this provides a wiping action in operation with the speed of the bearing and its circumference being faster than the speed of the root diameter of the wheel. The resulting action causes dirt to be pushed to the extremities of the bearing, allowing dirt and debris to be wiped away. Next point, low maintenance. These guys have been designed for a long life with low maintenance. However, if a component needs replacing, time is of the essence to minimize the downtime of the storage system. You have to consider that employees in pharmacies are not trained to swap these things. An average GV3 carriage, for example, can be changed in few minutes. Compared to other systems, it is very fast. And the last point, lubrication. V-guide systems work both with and without the presence of lubrication, largely because the bearings are greased internally during manufacture and then nitrile sealed for life. All of these points contribute to the fact that the system from Goldman runs smoothly and user-friendly since many years. So there was 4 main advantages. We have a robust system, a system which is insensitive to dirt, you have low maintenance, and you don't need lubrication.
Torsten, thank you very much. A fascinating look at a pharmaceutical dispensing system. It's great to see the technology that goes on behind these things. You take it for granted. So yeah, that was a great application example showing many of the key features and benefits of the V-Guide technology. The fact that it's easy to install, it saves time and money, of course, when you're having to design that and install it into your machine. The fit and forget of the maintenance-free design, the fact that it's tolerant to these dirty conditions, and in the right application that you can run it dry. These are all very sort of key features that make it really sort of unique compared to other linear technologies. Okay, so thank you very much. Let's take a look at your questions. And first of all, we have a question, Torsten, asking, are these linear systems food compliant?
Okay, thanks. Another question which brings up another advantage of our slides. Yes, of course, you can get these slides and these bearings, of course, in stainless steel, so that it's not a problem to use them in food machines, food packaging machines. And we have some another advantages that we can also fill the bearing inside with food loop. So another advantage, the slides and the bearings have still the same size.
Great, thanks, Torsten. Yeah, and just to add, in terms of our stainless steel range, not only food compliant, but we've got sort of high and low temperature options and even bearings which allow you to work in vacuum environments as well. So, you talk about food, scientific, pharmaceutical, we've got all of those industries covered. Okay, so we're going to move on now finally to Cyril in France and take a look at an application for French machine integrator CCAD. And they've really provided a sort of cutting edge automation solution for their customer, L'Oréal. Let's take a look.
My name is Cyril Clément. I am the HepcoMotion French sales manager. I've been involved in mechanical engineering for over 25 years now. I've been working with Hepco for 22 years, 12 as a sales engineer in the center of France, and then the last 10 years as a sales manager for France and French-speaking Switzerland. The application I'm going to show you was built and developed by CICAD. CICAD is a French company designing and building production line for the main cosmetic manufacturer. For now 3 years, they largely base their design on the XTS and GFX technology. It was originally a way to differentiate their proposal from competition, taking benefit of the flexibility of this technology. This application here is a recent example of a system we have completed for the cosmetic giant named L'Oréal. Both filling and sealing are carried out in a single continuous production line. A mechanically linked system in this application would have limited the throughput, as every carriage has to stop and wait for the longest process around the circuit. L'Oréal set the strategic goal to make the company's production equipment more agile. The global trend for an increase in individualization and smallest production quantities present challenges, especially in a growing industry. The goal of the new equipment was to make the overall production process independent of a machine rigid cycle. Based on a novel pass with a circumferential length of 22 meters and 40 movers, this new system is the heart of the production line. The filling process includes 6 work steps: infeed of the bottle, filling, adding dispersion pump, adding caps, labeling, and unloading the completed product. All these stations are arranged along the track. A key benefit of the XTS is the individual control of the movers. Each mover is able to stop for as long as it takes to perform the operation and then carry its bottle forward to the next process step. This allows to achieve different process time on the same line. The 5 old machines are now merged on a single agile system. Through this integration and the compact design of the GFX, the system footprint was reduced by 30%. In combination with an increased throughput of the system, the format changeover is also hugely reduced. A single line can now produce lot size from few hundreds to millions of pieces, as well as 7 different product formats. Now, this production line is running for nearly a year. CICAD is at the forefront for cosmetic flexible line. Following that successful application, they placed other orders for longer and more complex GFX for other worldwide famous companies in cosmetics.
That's great. Thank you very much, Cyril. And again, a really interesting GFX application. So yeah, please get your questions in. And we'll look forward to answering those. But now there's a great example of how XTS and the independent mover motion can allow for these buffer zones, these accumulation zones. So, you know, you're no longer waiting for the longest processed within your machine production line. And as Cyril says, effectively what they did there is bring together 5 different machines into one line, and the independent control of the XTS movers really allowed for that to be possible. And not only that, it's quite a unique system, very long, and it combines these different segments in terms of the curves. And you know, we're making more and more sort of flexible and innovative designs of our GFX track systems. Okay, so we're going to now open up to your questions. And the first question has been sent in by Lyndon Booth. And he's asking, what are the size limits of the XTS system, Cyril?
Okay, Alec. Yeah, there is no real limitation on the GFX length. We can achieve any length by butting slides, in fact, as well as the frame structure below. Limitations today are related to the back-off computer calculation limits. well, you have to know that at the moment we are supplying a system in excess of 50-meter length, which is having more than 100 movers running on this track. So processor capacities are improving every year. So that means the XTS bake-off system is growing length that they can manage every year as well.
Yeah, thank you, Cyril. Yeah, it's a very good point. You know, the development of computer technology, it's really allowing sort of advances in processing power, which effectively allows Beckhoff to make these systems bigger and bigger and add more movers. So yeah, in terms of the track system, we're unlimited on that as well. So yeah, how big do you want to go? Just please let us know. Okay, and Kai is asking, what's the actual accuracy of the system in each position? Cyril, are you able to sort of add anything to that?
Yeah, we'll try.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. The accuracy of the guiding system is about plus and minus 50 microns with a top face machine on the mover. The standard accuracy is plus minus 0.15 millimeters, but we can achieve plus minus 50 microns with an extra machining on the movers. And in the other direction, in the moving direction, this accuracy is managed by the motor. So here, the repeatability can be up to plus minus 30 microns. That depends also on the speed and the kinematic applied, but globally, they can get a repeatability of plus minus 30 microns at the working station.
Yeah, thank you, Cyril. No, that's very, very interesting. Okay, David is asking, what is the maximum acceleration for a GFX mover?
Yeah,
Cyril.
The maximum acceleration of a mover is rely on the fact that the bearing is going to skid on the slide. So we can achieve 40 meters per second square, sorry. That's the maximum today we can achieve. We are working on new movers to extend that acceleration rate. But yeah, as Alex say, you will get probably some updates next year in the coming webinars.
Yeah, thank you very much, Cyril. Yeah, Cyril's absolutely right. When we come back in the new year, we are going to be looking at some of these developments, and one of those is called an agile mover, and it's a mover that has a far lower mass. It has smaller diameter bearings, so there's less inertia, and effectively what that enables us to do is reduce the kinematics of the system and actually move that mover at far sort of higher accelerations and speeds, so thereby really sort of maximizing the throughput of the XTS GFX system. Mattia is asking what considerations were made in choosing one type of mover over the other, for instance a size 34 against a size 25. Cyril.
Yeah, for the GFX, we have 4 mover sizes, 2 with the smallest 25 diameter bearings and 2 with the bigger 34 bearings. And each one is offered in 2 lengths. The selection of the mover is generally made based on the kinematic data, on the motion profile, and the payload and where the payload is located on the movers. More offset you have, the bigger the mover need to be. We generally select the size 34 because it offers, that depends on the application. In fact, sure, the size 34 is bigger and the mass is higher, so that can affect the acceleration rate. So yeah, that largely depends on the specs of your application, but the selection is made by the technical service of Hepco.
Yeah, thank you, Cyril. So yeah, very important point is the fact that when we are looking at a lot of these XTS GFX applications, you know, quite often you or the customer may not necessarily know which particular mover they want to use. So you know, really, what it boils down to is the dynamics of the system. You know, what's the payload? Where is it positioned? And how fast is it moving? And not just at, you know, all the way around the circuit, but in each individual step, we analyze that in great detail. And we can actually guide you and provide you with the correct selection of mover for any given application. And we do this at quotation stage, you know, so once we've got all your application detail, we can go through all the fine points, all the fine detail, and really sort of home in on the best selection for your application. Now, often there's an expectation in terms of the life that you will require for a particular application, so service life. So this might be when you have to adjust the bearings or maybe even replace them. But, you know, that could be, you know, 5 years, for example. So, you know, we look at the dynamics of your application, how the duty, the load, and put all these things together and provide you with a life calculation or estimation at the time of quotation. So you know very much when we're specifying these systems exactly how well it's going to perform. So thank you for that. Okay, guys. Well, thank you very much. You know, so what leaves me to sort of close this off and say thank you very much for joining us today. Please make sure that you check our social media because we will be doing more of these, and we look forward to welcoming you back in the new year for our GFX deep dive in terms of the new developments we're bringing out